Nvidia posts record $81.6 billion revenue on AI demand. The buyback and dividend together pull income investors into Nvidia's register for the first time in scale. Those holders hate surprises. Margins will face pressure sooner than the street expects. They will question every dollar of R&D once Microsoft and Google prove their internal chips match Hopper performance on real workloads. AMD has roughly 12 months to make ROCm reliable enough for broad enterprise adoption or see its window close permanently. Otherwise, Nvidia simply returns more capital while competitors scramble. OpenAI model disproves major discrete geometry conjecture. Pure mathematicians long assumed human intuition held an edge on abstract proofs. That assumption cracked the moment an OpenAI system produced a valid counterexample without symbolic scaffolding. Tenure committees will notice first. Departments must now decide whether to treat these models as co-authors on papers or risk losing priority on open problems to labs with bigger compute budgets. Journals face the same choice within the next academic year or watch submissions bypass traditional review entirely. Grants follow once citation patterns shift. Meta reassigns 7,000 workers to AI roles amid layoffs. The reorg removes layers that previously translated between research and product. AI teams lose those translators exactly when model deployment cycles shorten. Remaining engineers will spend more time in meetings negotiating priorities instead of shipping. Coordination costs rise fast. Google and Microsoft watch this structure closely because any execution slip at Meta gives them 6 months to lock in partner integrations first. Flat orgs sound modern until revenue targets depend on coordinated launches across 5 divisions now running without buffers. Google launches Universal Cart for Agentic shopping. Shopify merchants gain default visibility inside Google agents without extra integration work. That shortcut compresses the window Amazon has to build comparable agent reach. Amazon must therefore publish its own cart endpoints to third-party agents within 9 months or watch default purchase flows route through Google instead. Smaller platforms lose differentiation once the universal layer handles negotiation and payment. Amazon responds next quarter. Margins compress when agents optimize across every connected store in real time without human oversight now. Google slashes AI Ultra price to $100 monthly. Lowering the bar changes who experiments first. Mid-tier teams that skipped the old price now run daily agent workflows without hitting limits. The added storage accelerates this migration for teams already drowning in logs. That shifts testing away from OpenAI's frontier models toward Gemini's stack. Watch what happens when those teams demand higher context windows next quarter. Anthropic must either cut its rates or lose the volume plays that fund its research today. NextEra buys Dominion in $67 billion AI power merger. Power contracts signed today lock in rates that data centers will still pay in 2028. That gives the combined utility an edge over smaller players still negotiating spot deals. The real pressure lands on hyperscalers who must now choose between building their own generation or signing long-term offtake from the merged giant. Microsoft and Google will accelerate their nuclear revival plans by early next year or risk margin hits on every new cluster they spin up. Cursor ships Composer 2.5 frontier coding model. Teams running multi-hour coding sessions will finally see costs drop below the noise floor. That flips the economics for startups still renting API time from the big labs. Persistent context across files changes how agents chain tasks without constant resets. Larger sessions become practical for the first time. Expect OpenAI to respond by packaging similar persistent state into their own tools within the next 2 releases or lose the developer workflow layer to Cursor's focus. Google confirms Android XR smart glasses for fall 2026. The 2-year runway gives Apple time to decide whether its own glasses stay compute-heavy or copy the always-connected model. Samsung's hardware margins will depend on how many users actually keep the Gemini agent active all day long. Carriers should prepare for new data plans built around continuous vision uploads rather than the occasional map query. Battery drain from always-on agents will force trade-offs in the first hardware revision or higher pricing to cover the gap. Amazon Alexa Plus rolls out AI-generated podcasts. The licensing clause is what matters here. Amazon gets to train on the full transcripts, not just summaries. That turns every listener question into product placement data for the Alexa shopping cart. Spotify and Apple Podcasts will have to match the conversational layer or lose the at-home audience entirely by mid-2027. Most shows still treat this as optional distribution. It isn't. Google to power new Gemini-based Siri for Apple. Apple just handed its most personal interface to a competitor's model. The personalization layer will pull from Google's knowledge graph, not Apple's private index. That single change quietly shifts default answers on everything from recipes to travel toward Google services. Siri's on-device promise erodes the moment Gemini handles context. Watch the App Store. Developers building around the old Siri kit now face a deprecation timeline they didn't expect. DeepMind CEO, AGI just a few years away. The timeline itself is theater. What ships next quarter are agent frameworks that let Gemini book travel and edit code without constant human loops. Regulators hearing a few years will treat today's tools as narrow AI, delaying rules that should already cover autonomous actions. OpenAI now has to decide whether to echo the same horizon or claim they're already there. Either path changes how enterprise contracts get written this summer. Google debuts Omni Unified Text Image Video Model. Grounded output is the real constraint it removes. Teams can now iterate a product video from a single prompt and a reference image without stitching 3 separate models. That collapses the current workflow from days to hours, which means marketing budgets shift away from specialized vendors faster than those vendors admit. Runway and Kling must either drop prices or bundle editing agents by next year's budget cycle, or they lose the mid-tier brand work entirely.